Hey folks, Colin here from Sumthins Recording, and today I'm going to show you how to make your vocals stand out by using effects on parallel compression. Now this is a technique that I think was popularized by Dave Pensado on the Pensado's Place show. A lot of times you'll see him paralleling into Nectar, so we're going to use that same kind of concept here, and we're going to put effects after our parallel compression chain. But before we dive in here, if you're ready to take your vocal mixes to the next level and really start dialing in your EQ strategy, then I have just the thing for you. It is my ultimate guide to vocal EQ, and it's just a simple PDF that will walk you through how to EQ your vocals step by step to help you get professional and polished sounding vocal mixes without any more of the guesswork. It is a completely free guide, and you can download it below using the link in the video description. Now let's jump in here and mess with our vocal parallel compression here. So I'm gonna hit play. You can hear the finished mix for this song, and then we're gonna create a parallel compression chain and add effects to it for our vocals. So here's the mix for this song.
I tried to get along. I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you.
So you can hear we got a good sounding mix going. We got a good vocal. It's sitting out front in our mix here. Let's see if we can take it that much further with some parallel compression and then some effects on our parallel compression here. So I'm going to nuke some of the stuff that we're not using here, and we'll turn it into our parallel compression chain. So I'm going to add a bus channel here, and we'll call it Vox Parallel. We'll color it white because it's going to be an effects channel here. We'll send it into our mix bus and we will solo safe it. So if you don't know how to solo safe in Studio One, it is Shift click and it will solo safe your bus there. That means whatever you're sending to it will solo as well. So I'm going to turn off the reverb here for the moment, just so we can focus on our parallel chain here. So if we solo up, I'm going to send full signal into it as well, so we're at 0 send. If I solo up this Vox parallel, it's just going to be our finished vocal.
I tried to get along. I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is get the parallel compression going. So I'm going to squash this vocal using the compressor here on the parallel chain. And I like using this 1176 for parallel compression on vocals.
I tried to get along. I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight. I've never been so afraid. Maybe that's why I hesitate to say. Tried to get along. I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight. I've never been so afraid. Maybe that's why I hesitate to say. I tried to get along. I tried to play the game.
Okay, so we've got our vocal pretty well squashed here. You can see I went pretty aggressive. All buttons in here. It's a nice function on the FET comp. And sometimes here in the PreSonus FET comp, it reminds me a little bit of like the nuke button on a distressor, which is really, really nice. It's a nice function. I'm going slowest attack, fastest release on this compressor to give it more of an aggressive edge. So we let kind of that initial pop through on the vocal. It helps it feel more aggressive and more transient on the front end. And I'm slamming this vocal in. We're doing about 10 dB reduction here on this vocal. So listen one more time with and without the compressor.
I tried to get along. I tried to play the game.
So we're getting some weight back too because we're pushing so hard into this compressor, which is really, really nice. I'm gonna add, let's go EQ next. So I'm gonna pull this EQ in here and let's see what we can do with our EQ.
But I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight. I've never been so afraid. Maybe that's why I hesitate to say, well, I love you.
So I rolled off some of that bottom end that we got from pushing so hard into the compressor. I don't want it to be really, really heavy here because then we'll add too much muddiness, too much bottom end when we mix it in with our original vocal. And then I added just a pop of mid-range here because I feel like that's going to go well with any kind of effects we add here. Now the first effect I'm going to reach for is the analog delay. So I'm going to throw the analog delay here after our EQ. And we'll go, let's try an eighth note here. We don't need to boost the feedback. Low cut, we'll go, I usually like to go 250 on the low cut and 3K on the high cut. That way we don't have too much muddiness coming from our delay here, and we don't have too much top end coming from the delay, because sometimes that can get harsh. And we'll go all the way with the distortion here. So that's another reason to have that high cut end, because sometimes that 4K area can get pretty crunchy sounding with the distortion. We don't need any ping pong or width or anything like that. And let's mix in some of this delay here on our vocal.
I tried to get along. I tried to play the game. But I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight. I've never been so afraid.
So I actually pulled the feedback all the way down. I don't think we need that at the moment because I'm going to add reverb on this as well. So I don't want things to get too crazy and too out of hand. We're at about 6% here, and that's sounding pretty good. Let's do a before and after on just the delay.
I tried to get along. I tried to play the game. But I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late.
Bumped it up to 7 there. That's sounding really, really nice. Let's go a step further here now, and let's add some reverb. Now, I think what I want to do with the reverb is I want to drag over the plate reverb that I use for vocals. So it's just a 2-second plate and a 152 millisecond pre-delay as well. So let's see what this does now. Let's pull it all the way down, and we'll mix this in as well.
I tried to get along. I tried to play the game. But I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight. I've never been so afraid. Maybe that's why I hesitate to say, well, I love you. I tried to get along. I tried to play the game. But I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late.
All right, I got the reverb dialed in. I did pull an EQ in after the reverb just to make sure with piling on the distortion and the reverb, our bottom end didn't get too heavy sounding. Went right below where we're sitting kind of with the bottom end of our vocal here. So we're right below about 200 hertz. So now we've got our parallel compression, a little boost in the mid-range, a little bit of eighth note delay, a touch of the plate reverb that I use on the vocals. So 2-second plate, 152 millisecond pre-delay there. And then a little bit more EQ on the end just to make sure things aren't too heavy. One more time here, we'll do a before and after with everything on our Vox Parallel here.
I tried to get along. I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late.
Sounded pretty neat. So let's pull this down now and let's mix it in with our original vocal in the track.
I tried to get along, I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight. I've never been so afraid. Maybe that's why I hesitate to say, well, I love you. I tried to get along, I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight. I've never been so afraid. Maybe that's why I tried to get along, I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I tried to get along, I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight.
So I dialed things up a little bit further on our effects here because I want to hear some of that along with the parallel compression. I don't want to just get energy from the parallel compression here. I want some of the effects in there as well. So let's pull this back and remix it in here now that we've dialed our effects up a little bit further.
I tried to get along, I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight. I've never been so afraid.
That sounded pretty good. We got some energy and I can hear some of that distortion and some of that length coming in from our effects here. So one more time here with and without the parallel compression chain.
I tried to get along, I tried to play the game, but I knew from the moment I saw you that it was much too late. I became so caught up in you. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking straight. I've never been so afraid. Maybe that's why I hesitate to say, well, I love you.
It's a unique way to make your vocals stand out by combining two elements, parallel compression and effects. So we're compressing our vocal drastically, that's our parallel compression, adding a touch of mid-range here just to push into our delay and reverb, adding some eighth note delay, so mixing in 20% of our eighth note delay, and then we're at 23% on our plate reverb afterwards. So it gives our parallel compression chain some distortion, some delay, and some length from the reverb. I hope that was helpful for you. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you're ready to take your vocal mixer to the next level and really start dialing in your EQ strategy, then I have just the tool for you, and it is completely free. It is my ultimate guide to vocal EQ, and you can click the link below in the description to download it to start creating more professional vocal mixes in less time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.